Do what up, motherfuckers? Well. Looks like a lot of people didn't watch the second video, did they? Interesting. I wonder why. Gee, I wonder why. We didn't like the sound in it. It kind of hurt on the first one. Like, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, it doesn't happen on the second one, but you'll be all right. I promise. No one's going to hurt you. In fact, I think it's one of my best ones. I think it's very good. Sometimes you have to make certain things certain ways to deter certain kinds of people. I get that, and that's kind of what I've always done. If a little sound thing fucks with you, you know, maybe start looking deeper into certain things of yourself, because there's so much out there that if you just kind of turn off certain parts of your mind, it opens you up to certain avenues of approach. That's the only advice I can say on that. What's going to happen going forward is we're going to continue down that journey. I'm thinking probably next week will be part 3 or episode 3. I think I'm calling them episodes. Number 3 will be coming, and that will deal a lot more with Dove and Thies, because I'm actually working on the script not as we speak. I don't want to do that today. But I have been working on this script a little bit to kind of really show you more narrative based. Because number 2 was a lot more, like, I was just trying to throw the shit out there, because I find that part, I could have told it in a narrative way, the creation of the world and all that. And I have in the books if you read them, but I felt like that one was a little bit more, let's just get this shit out of the way. Here's how the world was made, here's the Titans and this and that. Going forward, it's going to kind of go half and half. I'm just trying to figure the structure of these coming videos, because I don't have all these pictures and images I can show you. I only have a certain few. I have, that's what gets hard, is when you're doing like a narrative, it's like, okay, what are you showing while you're reading? I don't fucking know. A bunch of drawings that I have, I only have like 4 or 5. I don't draw that often, so it's just weird. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to do this, besides having a camera just looking at my face and all that. But whatever. The second part is I'm zooming in, like, as I'm going away from that, we're zooming in a little bit more on Aya, and I think I'm starting to piece some stuff together. I just got to really figure this out, because I have some really cool ideas with her story. Really cool ideas, I think. Got like, what, 5 pages here. I got a couple more over here. And then I'm working right now on how this will work. She's so crucial that I just don't want to fuck it up. And I just, it's hard. It really is. But I have been gaining some inspiration, because I've been reading these chronicles of the the second or third crusade? Can't remember now. But one of the crusades, I'm reading a chronicle of those events by a couple of lords, like, dudes that are higher ranked. Like, one's a marshal in France, and I don't know who the other one is yet, because I haven't gotten there. But it's just kind of their chronicle of their adventures and shit, and it's so, like, it's hard to say how accurate something is or how skewed it may be, but fucking A, dude, it's nuts to fucking read that thing, and I'm trying to imagine this, like what they endured during the Crusades, and all it is motherfuckers fighting and fighting and fighting, and then we're all in a team together, but this guy went over here, and I don't like that, now we're fighting him, and then we're fighting these people. Like, dude, you're supposed to be going over to goddamn free Jerusalem from the Muslims this whole time, but you got all these years of fighting each other in other countries before you get there. It's just like, it's nuts, dude. So I'm using a lot of that as the inspiration behind Aya's story, because her and her country, I don't know, I just kind of got this vibe of the same way that I'm reading this this history, this story of this guy's kind of viewpoint of the Crusades. I'm like, man, I can sense some vibes here that are so similar. So as I'm doing that, I got another one. This one as well. Let me show you both of them. Oh my God, such a fucking bitch. So this is the Chronicles of the Crusades. This is during the Fourth Crusades, and there's two different accounts in here. One is, I'm going to say it's Joinville, but it's probably wrong. And then one is Villehardouin, which is also probably not how you pronounce that name. Now, because they're fucking Frenchies. You'd think my first name being French, I'd have some, but I don't. Anyway, it's so crazy to just kind of hear this shit, man. It blows my fucking mind. It really does. When you start reading between the lines and stuff, but because you got this guy, he's like, okay, we're all gonna get together for the crusade. Let's go. But we gotta go to Venice first, because Venice, as you kind of heard me talk about before, like, well, they got the money. They can kind of supply us shit. And they go there, and this is what gets weird to me, because he's like, what's really going on? The Doge of Venice is this blind guy, apparently. And he's like, you know, I can loan you all this stuff, but you have to agree to something for me. And all these kind of like vassals, these lords, these like lesser men in a sense, because they're not kings, were like, France were like, sure, what do you want? And he's like, we have to help this guy named Alexis get to the throne of Constantinople, because what was it? His brother was on the throne, and his father was imprisoned or something. No, his brother was imprisoned, and some other guy was on the throne, and so they had to go to Constantinople and fight the Byzantine Empire. They did it. They installed his ass in the throne. Then he didn't do with his promises, so they fought him. The French did, this new emperor, and then he got away, and then another guy came to place, and they fought him, and then the emperor that got away went over here, and then they had to go fight him, and then the father, the original emperor that was dethroned a long time ago, tried raising an army over here, and then another emperor of Constantinople, which was a usurper one, went to him for aid because the French were kind of, you know, being bastards, and then so they had his eyes poked out and shit, and then later punished and killed. It was like, and all this shit, like, there's a lot more to it, a lot more subtlety. I'm not a historian. Read it yourself if you want to know more. But all that fucking shit happens, and it's like, aren't we supposed to be fighting the Muslims in Israel? Aren't we supposed to be going there and doing this? We're fucking around goddamn Constantinople for a few years, trying to do all this shit, and then, like, that's all it's been so far. It's just so chaotic. And meanwhile, every once in a while, there'll be just like this baron or this motherfucking marshal or some rank. He's just like, I'm going over here because I'm mad at you guys now, and I'm going to raise my own army. Now I'm going to do this. And then the French Crusaders are like, we got to go over here and fight this fucking guy now. And then it's just all this shit, and they're just dwindling. It's so fucking chaotic. It's so chaotic. It blows my fucking mind how just chaotic it is. And it's like, oh, I wonder why the Fourth Crusade failed. Like, well, fucking A, you know? We got another one that we're going to get into, and I believe this is chronicling the 300 Years' War. Jesus, that's in my book. Sorry, the 100 Years' War. And it's, I don't know exactly, 1337 to 1410 was when the man lived, and it's just going to talk about the stuff going on between France and England and all that shit during the 100-Year War, at least this portion of it. Oh my God, dude. And we're going to get into that. The main reason is we're really going to explore Aya's story, and I really want to pull a lot from history on that one, because Eris's story is such a personal, private story that takes place in the world, and there's a lot of shit going on around him, but it's so focused on Eris. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not really like, oh, we're going to tell you about the history of this country now. Like, it doesn't matter. When Eris rolls into a new place, even a new country, we're not going to sit here and have a little history lesson of like, okay, so let me tell you how these Hafel people came to be. No, it's not really his story. But when I explore other characters, meaning like Aya, for instance, she's in the political sphere, so of course I have to explore it more because, you know, she's like in communication with these people that are the heads of the country. So for instance, I had to kind of start thinking about how the Edenian government works and the names of every society and every group of the government and also every person of high rank and a small backstory of them all. And it's taken me a while because, like I've said before, I don't want her to bump into this guy and like, oh, this guy that you bumped into is head of the Aevan Tribunal. His name, it doesn't matter. His name's Josh. Who cares? Like, no, he's got to have a name. So, I have to structure it in such a way. It just feels like the world was lived in before you got there as the reader. You know, that's the whole point of it. You know, what kind of magistrates are over certain areas? How do the banking systems work and stuff? Because, you know, it's taking place in this political side, and we're talking about the same thing I was mentioning with the Chronicles of the Crusades here, where it's like, you know, you're going as Aya to Venice, which is Adrana. And it's like, we're going to Venice because we want money for this conflict that's going on in my country. That's the whole fucking point of Aya's story. So in saying that, I kind of have to dip my toe into how this shit worked a little bit more. So that's kind of what I'm doing on that side too. That's definitely a slower project. But the main one will be episode 3 of the series that we're doing of The Forgotten. But I think the book, as another update, we're just focusing on Aya, and I'll eventually get to Nahum, and then once I kind of figure that out, I can finish Nahum's chapters, because he's probably got a few more chapters left, and then I can really start thinking about Aya, and then the book first draft will officially be complete. It's just there's a lot of stuff in the way, and these books will definitely be a part of it. We've been acquiring quite a bit of books since the last time I talked. I mean, let me show you. We got City of God by St. Augustine. The Philokalia, I don't know how to say this. It's first volume of the writings of St. Nicodemus of the Holy Mountain. It's kind of about the, I want to say Occidental, but I know that's not it, Orthodox Church. We got the Four Emus, it's about Jupiter. We got stuff about Hermes, the Egregore. Not sure it's the White Shop. Astro World. We got The Secret of All Ages. That's only about a few. I got a few more. And I got a few more coming as well. We got a shit ton of fucking reading ahead of us. So much reading. Stop it. Little sissy. Sissy, 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 sissy. Oh, you don't like being annoyed? Okay. Yes, we have quite a shit ton of books that we're going to be reading and diving into this stuff. It's just a fuck of a lot, dude. But I just know that I have to do this because Aya's story is so fucking important. It might turn unimportant, you know, as far as I can tell. It might start to, like, I realize that maybe she's not who I think she could be, but as of right now, the way the story's structured, she's like as important as Leia, but even more so in terms of Star Wars. She's like a more important Leia, if that makes any sense. Just because she's got a huge part to play in the grand scheme of it all. Calm down. And she's got so much that hinges on her success that will bring the world into what I kind of want to do with it in a sense. So I'm not really sure what will be from there.